Continuing from morning Katha what we were having. सुबह वाला sound system, is this audible? Can everybody hear me? Hare Krishna. Now don't face me. Okay? So in the Bhagavatam it is said that of all the avatars of the Lord, Krishna, Nasik, Ram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are some of the main avatars which we worship. How many avatars are there in the world? 24. Perfect answer. There are many incarnations. In fact, they said there are as many incarnations as there are waves in the ocean. Can you count the waves? However, this world to be able to follow in any world to be able to follow in any sphere of life, you could think about it. ऐसा नहीं कि this he did perfect, but that somebody else is there. He was perfect in perfect husband, perfect king, perfect ruler, perfect son, perfect disciple, everything perfect he was. So that is why it is said that we worship Krishna, but we follow Ram. We worship Krishna, but we follow Ram in our day-to-day life. So we all know that in Treta, Lord Ram, how he appeared, we know that first time, right? That Dashrath Maharaj was there. He was the undisputed king of the whole of Ayodhya. In that time, it was not Ayodhya meant he was the king of the whole world. It was not just one particular city or something like that, country. Because he conquered the whole place. So when Dashrath Maharaj, he had everything he wanted except he didn't have sons. And why was it so much important for kings to have sons in those days? To carry on the lineage, right? Because when there were very dharma-pradayana kings, they had to continue the legacy of what they stood for. So that is why he really was feeling that he is incomplete because he is not able to give sons to the kingdom. And that is why he met so many rishis and then cut a long story short. He was told to the Yatra, Putra Kamishti Yatra, and from that this divine personality came and gave him this pot of kheer, which he divided equally among the wings. And then on a very auspicious time, auspicious nakshatra, first Ram was born, then Bharat was born, then Shatrugna and Lakshmana were twins. They were born. And from the very beginning, there was an unusual type of bonding between Ram and Lakshmana and Bharat and Shatrugna. Right? So not much is given in Ramayana about the childhood pastimes of Lord Ram. Like Krishna's childhood pastimes are described in very elaborate what all he did and all. But Ram is cut short. And it straight away comes that he went to the Gurukul and then he came back from the Gurukul. Who came to Dashrath Maharaj's kingdom? Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni told Dashrath Maharaj that I want to take your son Ram because I need help. So then Dashrath Maharaj just worshipped the feet of Durvasa Muni and he said, whatever you ask for I will give. And because he had made that commitment when he asked for Ram, he said for what? Like what exactly you want? Destroy Marich and Subhahu, who are Ravan's representatives and who have created havoc in our ashram. The name of his ashram was what? Siddhashram. In Siddhashram Dashrath they used to do their yajnas and everything. So as soon as Dashrath heard the word Ravan, he really panicked. He said, my son, he's just known the Gurukul, he doesn't even know how to hold the bow and arrow properly. And even though he's learned everything in the Gurukul, he's not an experienced fighter in the battlefield. So, but I have a lot of experience. So I will come with you. But Vishwamitra Muni explained to him that this is not your capacity to do it, only Ram can do this. And in several words, they went back and forth. And then Vishwamitra Muni, who was the Guru, he told Dashrath that you should allow Ram to go. You have given your word. Please have faith. Actually, Vishwamitra Muni alone is sufficient to be able to kill and destroy these people. But he just wants to glorify your sons. So you just give. With a heavy heart, Dashrath allows Ram to go. And Lakshman is his shadow. So he said, I am coming with you. So both the sons go and then, who was the first demon killed? Taraka. Taraka was a female, right? Unfortunately, you don't kill females or anything, but Ram had to. First demon in his career of demon killing was the demoness Taraka. And the forest in which they were staying, that became like a horror forest, which was actually a very beautiful place, but because of some curse which she had got, she and her sons, all of them had become very not clear. Even I feel it's not clear. Is it clear? So then after Taraka was killed, immediately both her sons, Subahu and Marij, they attacked. And Ram and Lakshman were going around with bow and arrow to protect the Siddhashram and telling them that you continue doing your yajna. And suddenly darkness started coming and stool and urine and pus and blood and everything started pouring in the yajna kund. And immediately Vishwamitra Muni warned that this is the signs that they have come. So Ram and Lakshman said, you don't worry, you continue being given. And then a fierce battle took place where who was killed? Subahu was killed. And one arrow Ram shot into Marij, which threw him 800 miles into the ocean. And where he fell, where did he fall? The place where he fell was known as Mauritius, which became Mauritius afterwards. Do you know that? This is our Indian history. Wherever you go, like Soviet Union, Russia, why is it called Russia? Because a lot of Rushi Munis used to stay there. So Russia, what are the letters there? So from Russia became Russia. Soviet is Shwet. Snow-clad mountains are there, ना Soviet. So इसके कारण वो श्वेत बन गया. Like that, so many places are there where the Pandavas kept their weapons. What are weapons called in Hindi? So which place do you think became that?
Australia.
Australia became Australia. Australia became Australia. So in one sense, there are many such instances. So the whole of Vedic culture percolated whole of Bharat. Means whole world was under Vedic culture. So anyway, where Marij was sent became Mauritius, and then they were going to come back to Ayodhya. But he told that there is a nice yajna happening in Mithila, so we should go over there. Sita Swayamvar is there. And when Ram go over there, Sita and Ram meet for the first time in this incarnation. They are eternal associates, right? See, wherever Krishna is there, Radha is there. Wherever Lakshmi is there, Narayan is there, Lakshmi is there. Same way, where Ram is there, Sita had to be there. So their dormant love was awakened as soon as they saw. But that condition which was there, that who can lift the bow will marry Sita. Why? Because Sita was only about 6-7 years old. But she could lift the bow herself. So that you have to give a condition that the boy should be superior to the girl, right? For the girl to be able to respect the boy. So that's why Janak Maharaj had to keep that condition. And worrying about the beauty of Sita, kings from all over the world had come over there and they tried to lift the bow, and we know that, we will full of nonsense. In fact, even Ravan had come over there. And even he could not lift the boat. Right? So then Janak Maharaj sighed very heavily and said, looks like my daughter is going to remain unmarried. There is no powerful man in this world, looks like. So Lakshman got very agitated and he said that, how can you say that while my brother is still there? So then Ram came forward, but did he come immediately that, come on, we are more? He sought the permission of his guru, Vishwamitra. He lifted the boat, and then that's how Sita and Ram got married. And they all came back to Ayodhya. And they ruled for 12 more years. 12 years, everything went very happy. At last, sons were there, daughter-in-laws were there. It was Ram Rajya, kind of thing, But then Dashrath Maharaj was aging, and he felt that I had to coronate the next successor. So, with the advice of his ministers, he took their advice and said, I am planning to put Ram as the prince, regent of the Ayodhya. And everybody just applauded his decision that yes, we must make Ram the prince regent. Right? And then every preparation started. Ram and he was told about this. And then he started first resisting. He said, I don't want. My father is still alive. Why should I become the king? But somehow or the other they convinced him and all the preparations started happening. And we know how the great Mantra. Everybody was happy in Ayodhya except Mantra. Why was she so insecure? Because she was a maid servant of Kaikai. And she thought that if my mistress, who is Kaikai, if her son becomes prince regent, then Kaikai का भाव बढ़ जाएगा. And Kaikai का भाव बढ़ने से मेरा भाव बढ़ जाएगा. Right? So she was resisting and she didn't know how to go about it. And she poisoned the mind of Kaikai. Anything, such a beautiful lesson which we need to understand from this is what? The power of association. Even if you are, Kaikai actually loved Ram more than Kaushalya. As much or more than Kaushalya. And Ram also loved Kaikai as far with his mother. So somebody who loves God so much, who loves Ram so much, even they can get contaminated if the association is not proper. So what about you and me? Right? So when in our scriptures it says what? Asat Sangha Tyaga E Vaishnavacharya. In Nectar of Instruction, one of the instructions which is given twice in the first two verses of Nectar of Instruction is what? Asat Sangha Tyaga. Jana Sangas, we are talking about two shlokas that comes. That means be very careful to whom we associate with. So at our level, what does it mean? Be very careful of what type of friends we have in our life. There will be some friends who can drag us away from God, and there can be some friends who can push us towards God, right? So even I came to Krishna consciousness because one such friend pushed me. I did not want to come to temple or anything. But she kept on telling me, you should come to temple, I will take you with me and I will pick you up and I will drop you. And I said, let me just go once so that she will keep quiet. And I started coming to temple and there was no looking back. Because I had good association. But we know of some good people who become, carried away by bad association, which is abundantly available in this age of Kali, isn't it? There is no restriction to that. So we must be very, very alert. Because you are whom you associate with. You know that story, no? That when some man is passing by and he sees the stool and he says, she, yuck. You know what a stool, no? Everybody knows what a stool is, right? Not table and stool. Not table and chair or a stool. Stool is the waste which we excrete out. So the man saw and said, yuck, you are so horrible. And the stool spoke to the man and he said, before I came in contact with you, I was a nice samosa. And after I came in touch with you, look what happened. After I passed through the stomach and everything. So that is what happens to us. If you associate with good people, even if we are not that good, we become good. But if no matter how we are. If we by unfortunately fall in bad association, right? That is why it is so important to have this type of association. Equal people who have the similar goal, similar struggle. It's not that we are pure devotees. How many pure devotees here? How many? Pure devotees? We are all devotees in the making, but we are struggling together. Right? So Prabhupada asked, how many pure devotees? Somebody asked Prabhupada, how many pure devotees? So Prabhupada said, how many devotees here? They said, 15 were walking to get a doctor's degree. But the water boys and fire boys and all, they will go, doctor Sahab. But I am not doctor yet, but you are doctor in the making. So we are all what? Devotees in the making. Right? But if we keep remaining on the same path, we will become a good devotee someday. So association, main message which we learn from this coronation pastime of Ram is choose your friends discreetly. Do not make anybody a friend by external. Say, oh, she is very head looking, or she is very smart, or she has a lot of money, let me make friends with them. Right? But make good-hearted people as your friends. Have that power of discrimination to be understand, able to understand the difference between who is good and who is bad. Nobody is bad, but circumstantially sometimes we become bad. So please, even if you are such good devotees, unfortunately if you fall in bad association, like Ajamin, right? We have the story of Ajamin. He was a Brahman boy, very pure boy, but just momentary association, this is what happened to him. He became a debauchee. Right? Same way we must choose our association carefully. So Mantra poisoned the mind of Kaikai, and then she asked for the boons and Dasharatha gave the boons. And immediately, he was supposed to give, he had no choice. But just see the character of Lord Ram, the personality of Lord Ram. Imagine yourself in the place of Ram, and you are going to become the king of the world. 1 minute before. And then there is umbrella over your head, and chariots are coming to drop you and pick you up and all. And you go in front of Dasharatha, asking what happened, but Dasharatha can't even speak. So Kaikai is saying, I will tell you what is happening. There are two boons that I have asked for. One is, instead of you, my son Bharat should become the king. And second is, you should go for Vanvas for 14 years. So when she had told the boons to Dasharatha, Dasharatha said, that's okay, I will make Bharat the king. Why do you want to send Ram away? Ram is my life. By sending Ram away, you are taking my very life away. But she was adamant because of the poison which Mantra put into her brains. But when this message was conveyed to Ram, what was Ram's reaction? There was not a twitch on his face. He didn't say, oh. Sometimes you give some news, before the words come out, you can see the expression, body language, like, oh no, oh my God, what a... But Ram was, he didn't even process it. The first words that came out of his mouth, he said, looks like some good fortune has arisen in my life. And I am getting the opportunity of if I was in Ayodhya, I would be so much politically involved and entangled, and I would not have gone. What a stroke of luck. Now what is this called? What is this called? Heights of positive thinking. Heights. Something so bad can happen to you, and you are thinking, my good fortune has arisen. Right? So again, Ram wants to teach us what? That so many challenges will come in our life. And two challenges come announced, hey, I'm coming, be ready, I'm going to come. Challenges come like that. Challenges come like a thunderbolt out of the blue. Thunderbolt out of the blue. You can never be prepared for challenge. That is not challenge. You are ready. For example, I will just, stupid example. You laugh at it. One of my friend's father died. And then she became so sometimes you can be so foolish that you feel कि okay मेरे लाइफ में भी ऐसा कुछ होगा ना, then I will do this way. But वो होगा ही नहीं, कुछ और ही होगा. You can never be prepared for a calamity. You see somebody going through something, and you say, oh, if this will happen to me now, I'll fail in my exams, I will do this. But you will not fail in that exam. You will fail in some other part. Because Krishna wants to take you unawares in your life. And then see your reaction. And only if you are a deep devotee, you will respond in the way Ram responded. In a positive way. So, how deep a devotee you are will come out when some difficulties come in your life. That's when the world will be able to see that whether you are shining or whether you are moving. Right? So Ram was so positive, and then as soon as Ram said, I am going, then Lakshmana, immediately Sita said that, I am coming with you. And Ram was trying to tell Sita, you don't know, we have been experienced in Gurukul. In Gurukul we learn how to live a life full of hardships, cutting food and fasting and staying in the jungle. But you are a princess. You won't be able to tolerate the hardships of the forest. You stay here in the palace. And what was Sita's reaction? She could have said that why I should suffer with them. Let me be comfortable. Let Ram go. 14 years he will come back, no? In today's age, girl would be there, she would think like that. Even if the Ram would say that you come with me, he said, but the curse is for you, not for me. I'll wait for you. Very religiously I will wait for you. No, but you do. But Sita also wanted to show. Krishna wanted to show that we are not fair weather friends. We are not fair weather friends. When things are good, I will be with you. When things are difficult, I will not be with you. Right? So she wanted to be with him. For me, without you, forest, Ayodhya is like a forest. So I am going to come with you. And then she decides to go with Ram. And Lakshman says, what about me? How could you even forget, about me? And then he says, what will Sumitra say? What will your mother say? And the mother said, what will I say? If you don't take him, I will feel bad. Now look, just see the examples in Ramayana. एक शेर तो दूसरा सवा शेर और तीसरा ढाई शेर. एक से बढ़ के एक. The mothers. Why would Sumitra want to do that? These are the silent characters. Who people like Sumitra and Urmila. No glory was there. Urmila could have said, I also want to come with you. मैं अकेला इधर रहकर क्या करूँगी? My sister, your sisters, ना Sita and Urmila. She is going with her husband. I also want to come with you. But she understood that if I go with Lakshman, Lakshman said, I will have to take care of you. My service will be hampered. So if today's Urmila would be there saying, that's your problem. I am coming with you. Ideal to the limits, right? So these examples are given for what? For us to see that what is expected. We are far away from there. But if you don't see the gold standard, will we even try to aim for that? If you don't try to jump for the moon, you will not even touch the ceiling. The ceiling is jumping to the right? So ideal means that to try to show the highest example of what could be there. So anyway, they came to the forest and they came with Sumantra and worshipped Ganga. They met Guha Maharaj on the way, and Guha Maharaj offered the kingdom that, okay, you have been banished from Ayodhya, but my kingdom is there. You remain the king here for 14 years and we will serve you. So then Ram, if we were Ram, we would say, he cannot, isko malum padega. At least there will be some proper comfort, little bit will be there, nice food, jo bhi hai. But nobody took shortcuts in Ramayana. Nobody would have known and nobody would have objected, but he wanted to follow strictly. That no, this also is the border of my kingdom. This part of my kingdom, I have to go away. And then he went and then the Kevat pastime is there. And they came to Chitrakoot and they stayed at Chitrakoot. And then we know how Bharat Maharaj, he came over there when he came back to Ayodhya and he heard the plot of his mother. Was he happy? No. Oh my God, that is one of the most painful episodes of how he reacts to his mother for having done this plot against his brother, whom he worshipped like God himself. And then, after being so detached and crying out, misunderstood by everybody. When he sees Kaushalya will say, "Again na, khush na, happy na, now you are king, please be king." And it again, and the mother, you are misunderstanding me. I don't want, in fact, we will go and we will get, I will go and I will get Ram back to prove my innocence. Right? That was not sufficient when he goes to Guha Maharaj. Bhardwaj Muni's ashram, there he is misunderstood. Guha Maharaj, he also is misunderstanding him, that he was motivated. But because his heart was pure, he was very clear and he went over there and he met Ram, and when he saw him in that outfit, sannyasi vesh, he was wearing tree barks and matted jata and all, and he said he can't do this. That whole dialogue between Bharat and Ram is one of the most heart-wrenching dialogues, and this place is there in Chitrakoot. If you go to that place even today, the emotions that erupted between Ram and Bharat were so heightened that it melted in the rocks. So till today in Chitrakoot there is a rock on which there is an impression of Bharat and Ram's feet where they were standing and talking. The stone melted. Can you imagine that stones could be melted by the emotions? When Bharat spoke, it felt that what Bharat is saying is right. When Ram spoke, it felt that what Ram is saying is right. And everybody was getting just flowed away. Maybe right, maybe right, maybe right. And they can't understand how to proceed. And suddenly, then they put the ball in the court of Janak Maharaj. And then Janak and Vasishtha take the decision that actually Bharat is victorious because of his love. So Bharat becomes very happy that now Ram will come back. And then the whole table was called that your love is victorious. Why? Because love means to do what pleases the beloved. And what does Ram want? That you become king. So for 14 years you become the king, and then Ram will come back and he will take the kingdom. So he took the Paduka of Lord Ram and he came back to Ayodhya. Okay. Now if we were Bharat, for every character put yourself. If we were Bharat, what would we feel? I tried my best to convince him. He didn't get convinced. My status is here. Now I have to be king. What would you? You understand, right? I have to be king. Now you can say that. But imagine this battle. If such brothers existed today, then what was the need for lawyers? But today, law court, most of the fights are what? Property fights. My property, my property. Every brother wants that. The fight is my property, my property. Here the fight is what? Your property, your property. You take it, you take it. Right? That is why it is known as Ram Rajya. That is why it is known as Ram Rajya. And then finally Bharat gives a warning to Ram that after 14 days if you become even one day late, then I will end my life. So then after everybody leaves, Ram is talking to, he goes and meets Bharat Muni. He says that, is there any other place where you can suggest where we can go? Because now that Bharat knows where I am and the Ayodhya-vasis know, they can keep coming now. So tell us where we can go. And that's how now we come to the main story of today. Where did they suggest that you go to this very, very pavitra place which is known as Panchavati, Nasik. Go to Panchavati, Nasik name came afterwards. You come to Panchavati. Now, why you should go to Panchavati? Because it is a very, very sacred place on the whole place earth. And why it is very pure and sacred? Because the river Godavari is over there. Right? The Godavari story we will tell tomorrow or day after, when we go to Pushpavat and Brahmadidi. Because Godavari is there, Godavari is almost not different than Ganga. So she is over here, and also the place is so sanctified by the presence of this, how the name place got the name Panchavati. So the story goes that when Suryadev, at the time of Suryadev, now Suryadev, the sun god, he is so effulgent that Surya ka kiran aaya, Usha. Now she was finding it very difficult to be close to her husband. Wife always wants to be close and intimate with her husband. But every time she would try to go close to him, she would get too bright. LED light, too bright, hurting the eyes. She didn't know that how can I get close to my husband? when this was, so after a long time she thought that finding it too difficult to handle, she wanted to go away. So what did she do? She left some planet and she came to this place over here where we are sitting in this area, and she made a replica of herself of another woman and replacement. Lokam bolte na usko, replacement to that rख दिया. And for some time Suryadev and his children and all there with her. But after some time Suryadev and the children started feeling that my wife doesn't love me as much as before. The children said, Mama doesn't love us before as much as before. And they said that there is something different. They realized that she is not the original Usha. So Suryadev is also very powerful person. By his mystic potency, he found out where she is. So he came over here, and Usha at that time was staying in the ashram of Kandu, who had an ashram over here. So Kandu Muni's ashram, and when Suryadev started approaching, what did Usha do? She saw her husband come. She said, Mother, now he is coming, So what did she do? She immediately took the form of a mare. So mare is a female horse. So she took the form of a female horse and she started running away from the ashram. But Suryadev can also understand, because he is also pure devotee. He is a very powerful demigod. So he took the form of a male horse and he started chasing her. And then unme sulha ho gayi and they were having a nice time. Male horse and female horse running around frolicking and having a nice time. But ये सब किसने देखा? कंडू मुनि के आश्रम में ऋषि कुमार आश्रम में disciples तो होते हैं ना. So there were 5 ऋषि कुमार who saw this and they started laughing. Look at sun god, and now he's playing with his wife like a female horse and male horse, and they couldn't stop laughing. They were just laughing and laughing and laughing. So sun god became very offended. So he cursed them. You are jada buddhi, you become trees. So when we will go to Kalaram temple and Sita Gufa, you will see there are 5 big banyan trees. They became banyan trees over there, which are still over there in that same locality. And because that place was sanctified by the ashram of Kandu Muni before, it was still a very, very sacred place. So even though they were in the form of trees, still the soul was there of the Rishi Kumars. So they were performing tapasya over there, waiting for Lord Ram to come. This happened many years before, hundreds of thousands of years before. So that was the significance of the place Panchavati. And the river Godavari was flowing through Panchavati, right? So that is why when Ram started walking, he started coming, he left Chitrakoot and they entered into the Dandakaranya forest. Now Dandakaranya forest is not like a small garden like Shivaji Park or some photos. It extended right from Chitrakoot till down here, below Nasik, over there. How many kilometers and miles you can think of? Huge place it was. So it was already infested with demons, right? So as soon as they entered the Dandakaranya forest, it was getting thicker and thicker, more dense. And suddenly this one huge demon comes there. What was his name? Virar. Virar comes over there and he sees Sita and he feels very attracted to her. And he starts rebuking Ram and Lakshman. He tells Ram and Lakshman that you all are appearing in the form of sadhus, in the dress of a sadhu, but look at you. You have no faith in God, you are carrying bow and arrow. You are actually hypocrites. Natki log hai aap log. So this is not proper. You all should go on your own way and do your tapasya and all and leave this woman to me. Right? Because I am going to enjoy with her, and after enjoying with her, I will drink her blood and eat her flesh. And he immediately picked up Sita. Like a huge mountainous person. They picked up Sita and Sita started screaming, Ram, Ram, Lakshman, save me, save me. And Virat started running into the forest deeper and deeper. So Ram and Lakshman realized that there is nothing to be taken lightly. Because if we delay, then Sita is in of seeing Virat. So उनके हाथ से सीता छूट गए. Then that angered him, because that is how material mind works, right? Raga dvesha vimuktana. When you get angry, from anger what happens? I mean, from lust anger comes, right? Because he was so lusty for Sita, he became very angry and he wanted to catch the source of anger. So what did he do? He caught hold of Ram and he caught hold of Lakshman. And he started squeezing them and trying to take them away. And then Sita panicked even more that, I mean, if my protectors only go away, then what is the use of my life? How will I be able to be over here? So, and this was going back and forth. So Ram said, this is enough. So then he shot an arrow and Virat he fell down. But before he was leaving his body, he said, actually I am a demigod whose name is Kunduru. And I was cursed. Hare Krishna. And I was cursed to take this form because of some offense I created. But now that you have come, I will be liberated. So you make a big hole and bury me in a grave, and I will regain my original body. So that's what they did. They put him inside, and he got his original body, and he left back. So then these people are entering deeper and deeper. They come to different. I mean, the purpose was very clear in Ram's mind that I am coming for what? Sadhu Sangha. So, n number of description is given in Ramayana. That how they. So then they came where? What was I saying? Where did we? They buried. To meet sadhus. So they met so many sadhus on the way. They met Sutikshna Rishi, then they came to, I forget all the names. Then one of the rishis they came to meet is Agastya Rishi. Now Agastya Rishi is no ordinary rishi. No rishi is ordinary. But Agastya is extraordinary rishi. Why? Because he is very powerful person. And his power was known all over. So while his ashram is in Dandakaranya forest. So the speciality of Agastya Rishi is what? That even demons feared him. So actually there were two demons at that time in Dandakaranya, and their name was what? Ilvala and Vatapi. And these two people were so demoniac, what they would do? Again they were servants of Ravan. So what they would do? They would invite sadhus for Shraddha. You have Shraddha, na? So this Ilvala will go around and say, today is my father's Shraddha, today is my uncle's Shraddha. You are such a pure sadhu, please come to my house for Prasad. And they would bring sadhu home. और साधु को बिठाएंगे और अंदर खाने में क्या बनाते हैं? This Vatapi would become a sheep. और sheep के छोटे छोटे टुकड़े काट के खाने में मिला देते थे. So you can make out that this is veg or non-veg. और साधु उसको खिलाते थे. So innocently they would trust that this is a Brahman. So he is not going to feed me any forbidden food. So they would eat it, and then Ilvala would tell, what he would say, Vatapi, come. So what Vatapi had been eaten in the stomach of the sadhu, suddenly Vatapi will tear the stomach and come out and kill that sadhu, and then both of them will feast on the sadhu. This was a daily affair. Every day they would do that. Catch some sadhu, make him eat, and then he would say, Vatapi! And then Vatapi will bang, he will come out and then kill the sadhu and eat. So one day they found this Agastya Rishi, and they did the same thing to Agastya Rishi. They said, oh Maharaj, oh sadhu, please come to our house for prasad. We want to serve you, today is the Shraddha. So they served, like every day they do. They took Vatapi and they served him. And then immediately they said, after Agastya Rishi had eaten, this Ilvala is saying, Vatapi! Nothing happened. Vatapi! Nothing happened. Saying, Vatapi! And what did Agastya Rishi do? बड़ा ढका लिया. And he said, Vatapi, Jirnodhana. a very powerful rishi. So when Ram and Lakshmana heard about his stories, so they came in a very submissive mood and they offered obeisances to him. Then Agastya rishi gave him a arrow, right? Very powerful bow and arrow, which would help him in his battle against Ravana in the future. So taking all of those things, walking for months and for years, it took them. They finally reached this place. Then he told Lakshman that last sadhu he met was Sudikshna Rishi. Then he asked that, is there a very appropriate place for us to decide? And he told him that come over here to Panchavati. And then he told Lakshman that, Lakshman, find such a beautiful place that my Sita is happy. I have given a lot of pain to her. Find a beautiful place. But as they were entering, they saw this gigantic big bird sitting over there. They didn't know who he is. So then he introduced himself that, my dear Raghumandan, I am your father's friend and my name is Jatayu. And I owe my life to Jatayu, to Dashrath. Right? And I had promised him that for the rest of my life I will protect your sons. So while you are staying here, be carefree. I will sleep, but take away my sleep so that I want to serve uninterrupted, unmotivated devotional service. The definition of bhakti. What is the shloka? Ananya abhyadishya shunya jnana karmadi anavritam anupriyena krishnam shivani bhakti. Nahi. Nasik. अगर की अप्रतिहता अरे नहीं हाँ unalloyed uninterrupted devotional service. We cannot be interrupted. Even the gopis were criticizing Brahma for having created idols. Okay, at least for 1 minute our service will be interrupted. You blink, na? How much time does it take to blink? 0.0. Nimesh 1/8. What is Nimesh? 1/9 part of a second. Second is also like this. Uska bhi part, right? But they didn't want that much interruption also. So that's how Lakshmana wanted to serve, right? So all the brothers, the way they served Ram, after Bharat left Chitrakoot and he saw Ram like this, forget staying in the palace. He said, my brother Ram, he is wearing matted dress. I will also wear matted dress. And he is eating himself food. So if I eat, then that is sense gratification. So what he was eating? He was having only cow urine. So he dug a hole under the ground and he would sleep under that. And whatever decisions he took, he would take permission, read out to the padukas of Ram, and then only take decision on that. Right? So this is what a servant means. We use the word servant so easily now. I am servant of the Lord. I want to become your servant. Please make me your servant. And not only that, I want to become the servant of the servant. But do you know even Vishnu, when this Jai Vijay pastime took place, the cursing of the Kumaras, and that's how Ravan, Kumbhakarna, all of them are incarnations of that, right? So Vishnu tells the folks over there that actually everybody says that my lotus feet are very great. But what is the secret of my lotus feet being great? Because I am constantly serving my devotees. So because of serving my devotees, my lotus feet have become glorious. So he also gives the credit of his greatness. God is great. How great is God? Why do we say God is great? Because he is all powerful, all beautiful, all knowledgeable, all wealthy, all everything, all. Right? He is all attractive, that is why. But how does he become all? Because of serving the devotees. That is the glory of being able to serve devotees even to some extent. What to talk of, any great extent. When we went to Vrindavan Yatra for the first time and we were traveling, so we did Govardhan Parikrama. Right? So there are many kunds around Govardhan. And then Maharaj had told us that time that we are going to take bath in every kund. So we said, अभी नहाना है तो कपड़े तो गीले होंगे ना, टॉवेल गीला, कपड़े गीले. So when you are going to go 21 kilometers Maharaj gave classes around Govardhan. Then second year again we went to Govardhan. And then Maharaj the glories of how we should be good servants. Good servants never take service. So that year we said, we were so foolish, we took seva. Carrying our own bag. And again Maharaj glorified seva. Yeah, seva is so glorious. So third year, what we did? Give me your bag, give me your bag. First year we were like, will you carry my bag? Will you carry? Next third year, carry your bag. I'll carry your bag. Now what happened? Just by hearing about the glories of seva, in our stupid hearts also we develop the desire to serve. Right? So that is how by hearing we can develop a desire to serve. Because service is the only thing which attracts the Lord. He becomes happy when we want to do that. Right? So see the examples of Bharat, Lakshman and all. All wanted, the greatness is in the service. So that's why Prabhupada always said that materialists, they want to become God. But devotees are more intelligent. They become greater than God. How? Because God worships the devotee and they become a devotee. God becomes a devotee. When they came out, we saw all shoes were lined up perfectly in line, disciplined way. सब छोड़ के गए थे तो ऐसा कचरे की तरह. And when he went to the building, one brahmachari, Sankirtan Guru, he quietly, because he didn't get any seva, he just lined up all the shoes. So now, there was no seva given to him. And we can say, sab seva chali gaya, मैं क्या seva करूँ? But if you really want to serve, you figure out some seva for yourself. You know the story of Hanuman also, right? Yeah. He figured it out. Where there is a will, there is a way. We can figure out some service of the other. So anyway, so they came. We can figure out some service of the other. So anyway, so they came over here to Panchavati area and then built the Parnakuti and they started staying very, very happily. Right? And that was towards the end of the Vanvas. Right? They had 1 year to pass. 1 year they had to stay somewhere. So when they were here, the whole year, 14 years, the 13 years there was no trouble. Because they were together. They were happy. I was telling on a lighter side that actually Sita was happier in the forest than over there. Because she didn't have three mother-in-laws. And Ram was completely with her. He didn't have to go to the courtroom and she didn't have to tell Ram, you have no time for me only. Because they had all the time for her. Right? What does a wife want? She just wants time of her husband. And she wants him to herself. Right? So no interference of mother-in-laws was there. No kingdom, no jawabdari, no job. 24/7 for 13 years. She was very, very happy. So where does happiness come from? Does it come from external things? People think if I have money, I'll be happy. If I have comfort, I will be happy. But happiness comes from satisfaction. It comes from within. And things don't give satisfaction. Relationships give satisfaction. Right? Men find the psychology difference between man and woman is men feel satisfied from things. From 1 BHK, they will go to 2 BHK, they will 2 BHK. They are going to go house, they will 5 men are working under me, now 100 men are working under me. So they feel a sense of achievement. But where do we women feel a sense of achievement? From relationship. If people around us are happy with us, even if you don't have 10 cars or you don't have a big house, but if you are happy in the relationships you have, you don't need things. We are very satisfied and that is how Krishna has made women. So Sita was very happy even though she was not staying in the palace. She didn't have the chappan bhog to eat. She was living very frugally. But 13 years were very happy. The pain started in the 14th year when they were separated. That's where it starts the basic crux of Ramayana. They were happily staying there when one day, every story starts now. Once upon a time, who was going through Kandakaranya? Who was Surpanka? And She had lost her husband. Who had killed her husband? Ravana. So just to specify, I am the cause of your husband's death, so कुछ compensation है that go rule over the she was moving around like a boss. जो अच्छा लगा उठा लिया. Like her brother, same mentality ना. जो सुंदर लगी उठा ली. हाँ, पुष्पक अच्छा लगा चुरा लिया, उठा लिया. सब that is Rakshasi mentality. Then you want that whatever is best, who should have? But devotee thinks if he sees a flower, then he thinks, oh, I cannot put in my hair. Can I offer it to Krishna? Because they are always thinking of Krishna's enjoyment, not their own enjoyment. But materialists are always thinking of their own enjoyment. So Surpankha saw Ram, and actually the most beautiful form of Ram is known for his Rupa Madhuri. That is, Krishna is known for which Madhuri? Venu Madhuri. He is also extremely beautiful. You can't say one is more beautiful. But he is more famous for his Venu Madhuri. But Ram is known for his Rupa Madhuri. He is so beautiful. He is so. Description is given. I mean, we cannot even attempt every limb of his eyes, his glance, his hair, his chest was like a lion, and his waist was thin, and like handsomeness personified. In fact, the sages of Dandakaranya, they also started having Madhurya Bhav towards him. Now they are sadhus. How will they have? So Ram told them, in this lifetime I am what? Take a patni. But when I will come as Krishna, all of you come. So some of the gopis, there are categories of gopis who came. So there were some who were with the gopis, but some were Rishi-chari gopis. Means these Dandakaranya ke rishis, they incarnated just to enjoy Madhurya Ras with the Lord. Right? So they are Rishi-chari gopis, they are called. So when Sita came, when Surpankha came here and she saw the beauty of Ram, what happened? She was struck by the arrow of Cupid. And when Cupid's arrow strikes, somebody gave a class in Gopinath temple. The class was on what? How Cupid made you stupid. Cupid is making all of us stupid, right? So Surpankha became insane, and she knew that she's so ugly looking. If she goes like that, then maybe she will be rejected. But she had no intention of letting this proposal go. So she dressed up immediately. They all have powers, not siddhis. So she became the most beautiful damsel-like lady, and she approached Ram because she saw Ram was alone. I said, oh Ram, dear Ram, you are so handsome and I am so beautiful, and the environment is so enchanting, and you are in the prime of youth, I am in the prime of youth. Let us fall into a old Dandakaranya and we can enjoy loving pastimes everywhere. So Ram said, excuse me, I am already married, and this is my wife. That Sita was the cottage, that she is my wife, and you can imagine a woman in love being spurned.